In this lesson, we're going to go crazy with chords. It's time we're really up to the amount of chords we know. We know 13 chords so far, but let's wind that up a little bit more and start learning a lot of different chords. They're not so hard chords really, because they're nothing really different than what we've learned. They're just variations on them, like the sus chords really, where you've just got little differences as opposed to massive learning curves. Anyway, we'll go through them all now, one by one. Before we learn all these new chords though, let's just have a quick rehash on the chords we already know. We've got the A chord, which is 3 fingers in a row like that, with the thumb over the top muffling out the 6th string. We've got the D chord, which is the first finger there, second finger there, third finger there, with the thumb over the top muffling out the 6th string. We've got the E chord with the 3 fingers here like this, no thumb muffle. We've got the G chord, which is the tricky 2nd, 3rd and 4th fingers, with the first finger not being used. We've got the C chord with first finger here, 2nd finger there, 3rd finger there. We've got the A minor chord with down like this, like an E chord just dropped down a string, with the thumb of course coming over and muffling out the 6th string. We've got the B7 chord, which is the tricky 4-finger one. It's a bit of a squeeze like that. The thumb comes over and muffles out the 6th string. And then we've also got the F chord, where we do the first 2 fingers in a little bar like that, 2nd finger there and 3rd finger there. Thumb comes over and muffles it out. Let's learn all our new chords now. The first one is an A7 chord. It doesn't use the first finger, has the 2nd finger onto the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and the 3rd finger onto the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. As you can see, it has an X on the 6th string, so the 6th string is muffled out, so we bring it over like that. Let's give it a strum, and play all the notes one by one. Nice sounding chord there, A7. The next chord up is A major 7, which is exactly the same as A7, except we put the first finger down here onto the 1st fret of the 3rd string. Again, 6th string is muffled out. Let's strum it and play all the notes one by one. That's A major 7. That's a really nice sounding chord, like a jazz chord. The next one up is A minor 7th, where if you just play an A minor chord, and then if you just lift off the 3rd finger, so it makes the 3rd string open, that's an A minor 7th. Bring the thumb over the top and muffle out the 6th. Let's give it a strum. Again, a very nice sound there. The third one up is C7, so if we play a C chord as we know, and then we put the 4th finger down here onto the 3rd fret of the 3rd string. Okay, 6th string's muffled out like our other C. Play all the notes. Nice sounding chord there as well. The E7 chord now, if we play an E chord and we just take off the 3rd finger, so it's only a 2-finger chord. It's all 6 strings, no thumb muffle there. Play all the notes one by one. That's the E7. Next one up is E minor. If we play the E chord again and we just take the 1st finger off this time, so it's only a 2-finger chord. Hear the minor sound there between the E major to the E minor. Remember, minor is sad and major is happy. The next chord up is a D7 chord, which is a 1st finger here onto the 2nd string 1st fret, 2nd finger here on the 3rd string 2nd fret, and the 3rd finger here onto the 2nd fret of the 1st string. Muffle out the 6th. Let's play all the notes one by one. That's a D7 chord. Next one up is a D minor chord, where the 1st finger goes onto the 1st fret of the 1st string, 2nd finger goes onto the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and the 3rd finger goes onto the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. Bring the thumb over the top. Quite a stretch to get that chord, it'll take a while to get the hang of it. 4th finger does nothing, just gets out of the way there. Let's play all the notes. The last D chord is a D major 7th chord, where the 1st finger goes here onto the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, 2nd finger goes onto the 2nd fret of the 2nd string, and 3rd finger goes onto the 2nd fret of the 1st string. We bring the thumb over the top and muffle it out. Again, that's a major 7th, it's a D major 7th. It's a very nice jazz sounding chord again. The next chord we're going to learn is called F major 7th, which is where the 1st finger goes here onto the 1st fret of the 2nd string, 2nd finger goes there onto the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and 3rd finger goes there on the 3rd fret of the 4th string. It's just like our F chord, except instead we don't have to do the bar down there any longer, we just play that note there alone. So again, 6th string muffled out. Nice sound there again. And then the last chord we'll learn is called a G7 chord, which is a good stretch chord. We have the 1st finger down here on the 1st fret of the 1st string, 2nd finger up here onto the 2nd fret of the 5th string, and 3rd finger here on the 3rd fret of the 6th string. And that's all our new chords: A7, A major 7th, A minor 7th, C7, E7, E minor, D7, D minor, D major 7th, F major 7th, and G7. Now that we've learned all these new chords, let's learn some pieces of music to start using them as well. I've written down 3 groovy chord progressions there. The first 2 are just standard sort of progressions, and the third one's a bit of a jazz progression, which is quite a nice sound to it. In fact, they're all quite nice sounds. What I'm going to do is take you through them and play them all for you, and then tell you a little bit about each one as well. The first one, Groovy Chord Progression 1, is actually a chorus out of a song myself and a bass player in a band wrote many years ago when I was at high school. I can't remember the song, I can't even remember what it was about, however I still remember the chords there, so it was an ideal opportunity to show you how to use the D minor, G7, E minor, A minor, D minor, G7 and C. It's quite a nice sound. Really for your strums you want to be using the standard or the classic, but any strum will do, it's up to you. You can even make up your own strums now, and you could even try and write them down in music if you wanted. So let's just have a quick look at this. First chord up is a D minor chord, which as we know is like that. It then goes to a G7 chord, which is a nice easy change because the first finger can stay where it is, and just these two just have to move up to there like that. So it's a nice easy change. The next chord up is E minor, which is an easy change as well, because the second finger can stay where it is, and we just bring the third finger down to there, and the next change is to an A minor chord, which is nice and easy just down like that. So we go to D minor to a G7 without moving the first finger, and then a G7 to an E minor without moving the second finger, and then just move them down to the A minor chord and bring the thumb over the top there. Nice and easy there. The second line of music is D minor again with an easy change to the G7, and then it just goes to a C chord, which we just move those two fingers, the second and third fingers down and the first finger up. So from G7 to C isn't too bad either, and that's where it comes with a nice sound. Let's try and play it now. I'll use the classic strum first. Quite a nice little piece. It can benefit from being playing fast or slow, and it's really up to you. What I will do now is I'll play it again. This time I might experiment a little bit with some different strums here. Maybe try a bit of a build-up or some standard strum in there as well. Just try and build a bit of tension. So let's listen to it again. See if you think it sounds any better. Again, it's over to you to try and play it however you think it's going to sound best. The most important part is to keep it in time and get the chord changing nice and in time with the strumming so everything stays in time well. So what I'll do here is I'll play it once more with the standards, with the classic strum nice and slowly, and then the second time through I'll try and experiment a little bit with the strumming. What you should be trying to do is play along with me and get the chord changing as good as what I've got it, and nice and smooth there. 1, 2, 3, 4. See how I varied the strums there and even threw in a new strum there. Maybe you could learn that as well. Just makes it sound a bit different and a bit better. Right, the second chord progression is just a bit of a different sounding one there. It uses all sevenths. Now sevenths have a very twangy tone to them, which makes them really good chords to use when you want to have a little bit of an impact there. So this is not a progression you would generally use in a song, but it's good practice because you learn all your seventh chords, and they're also tough chords because we've got the B7 and the C7, which both use all 4 fingers. Now any 4-finger chord is going to be a struggle for us, but it's also a good chance to really get this little finger into action and start getting exercising and doing everything we need. So we'll just play this one just with the standard strum there, and we'll see what it sounds like. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, no easy chord changes there. It's all tricky. No tricks, no licks there to get nice easy changes. Just hard work for you. When you've got that sus and you've got those chord changes going really well, what you can do then is start to try out a new strum. Like this one really benefits from a good bluesy strum. So I'll play it again for you now, just making up a bit of a bluesy strum which you might quite like. So you can hear how effective 7th chords can really sound when you get going there. Okay, we'll move on to the 3rd chord progression now, which is the jazz one. It's got a really nice mellow sort of a sound to it. So let's just try and strum that, just using we'll use the ballad strum for it. That will be the most effective. So as we can see, the chords is A major 7, D major 7, A major 7 and D major 7 repeated again. Then our standard chords of E, G, C, D, and 3 bars of D in a row there, and then A major 7th and D major 7th again. So let's just have a quick look at it in a little bit more detail. What we've got is 3 bars of D in a row. Now what I would like you to do with the 3 bars of D is try and put in some sus chords in there. Maybe on the second half of the bar, maybe on the first half of the bar, maybe make it one of those bars of D an entire sus chord. I don't know, the choice would be entirely yours. I'll play it for you twice now. First time I'll play it just using a standard ballad strum and doing the chords as they're written. Second time I'll experiment a little bit with the strumming, again just trying to do different strums there, and I'll also put in some sus chords and just see how they sound. Counting it. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. So as you can hear, a completely different sound there. The major 7th chords are giving it a real jazz feel to it. So now I'll play it again, and like I said, I'll do a little bit of a jazzy type strum maybe, and also try and do some sus chords in there. So you can hear how effective just a little bit of a different strum there or something, and the sus chords can really add to a song. The groovy chord progressions number 1 and 3 are also very good finger-picked. They make a great exercise for your finger-picking, which we haven't done a bit of for a while, and they're just a little bit of an alternative to the standard songs that we've been playing. So I'll play for you now groovy chord progression number 1 with finger-picking pattern number 2, and you should add this to your practice repertoire as well and do it a few times every day and try and get it nice. It'll really help with the chord changing, and it has a completely different sound again than when we strummed it, which can be quite nice. It might just be that sound you're looking for. 1, 2, 3, 4. Quite a nice sound, isn't it? A very lovely, mellow sort of a sound. Now, the next one, groovy chord progression number 3, the jazz one, I'll do that with finger-picking pattern number 3. And again, you should add this one to your practice repertoire as well. Gets you changing with these unusual chords and gets you really using that finger-picking. 1, 2, 3, 4. notice that in the third bar of D there I used the D sus4 chord, which led back to the A major 7th quite nicely. Anyway, all these new pieces and all these new chords you should be adding to your practice repertoire. What you want to be doing is testing yourself on the chords every day, where you write them all down, write down all the chords you know, and then test yourself. Go A major 7th, A7, A minor 7th, and then do all the Ds, then do all the E's, then do the F's and your 2 G's and also the 2 C's. There's about 20-25 chords there that you should know now. It's quite a mission to learn them all, and it's especially even worse when you start trying to put them into all the different songs and remember them. It's hard work, but it's well worth it. And like the guitar though, any effort you put in, you get back out tenfold. So keep up the practice.